everybody, and welcome back. Today I want to talk about a tip that I just recently learned about and I'm obsessed with, basically. So if you happen to be or have a 9-month-old who is learning to walk and falling on her head like 4 times a day, this video is for you. Or if you happen to be a major klutz and walk into things like sometimes I do, and I'm gonna blame that on sleep deprivation, then this video is also for you. So, has anyone ever heard of putting butter on a bruise? Because honestly, it works. This is all you need. Most people have this in their fridge. This happens to be of the salted variety. The other day, Esme fell on her head, like usual, and this huge welt started to appear in the middle of her forehead. And I so happened to have my babysitter here, and she looked at me and said, just put butter on it. I was like, butter on a bruise? I've never even heard of this before. Fortunately, I had my trusty iPad laying around, so I did a really quick Google search of putting butter on a bruise, and some research actually came up about it. So I'm sure you guys have heard of putting a raw steak on a black eye. Well, the whole reason that works is that there's phosphates in the steak that basically, correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, my understanding though is that essentially the phosphates in the steak prevent the blood from pooling at the site of damage. So in other words, when you fall on your head, if you're 9 months old, or if you smack yourself on the corner of the table like I often do, essentially you damage the tissue there. And when you have damage, blood starts to pool in that area, I imagine in hopes of correcting whatever damage you just did. There's phosphates in butter, and so when you apply it, it stops the bruising. And so I thought, okay, I'm gonna give this a try. What have I got to lose, right? Esme, honestly, she smacked like the middle of her forehead right on a planter. Like, it wasn't pretty. We had lots of tears and everything. I quickly went to the fridge, just cracked open this thing of butter, put my fingers in it. Note to self, there's finger marks in that butter. But anyway, grabbed a little bit of the butter, put it on her forehead, just rubbed it lightly. I didn't like rub vigorously or anything like that. And we left it there. She looked like a little grease ball for the rest of the night. But you know what? The next day, people, the bruise was very minimal. And we're talking like that bruise could have been like disfiguring type of bruise. All you need is a stick of butter, preferably butter, not margarine, although there are phosphates in margarine. I don't think there's as many or something in as there is in butter. Just take a very light amount with your fingers and apply it to the site, to the bruise, and just rub lightly. Just leave it. And that's it. We washed it off in the bath or whatever that night, and the next day the bruise was very minimal. Now, the following day, she then fell over again and smacked the side of her face, and I didn't have to do any Google search this time, and I quickly just applied butter. There's no bruise. So honestly, this is a trick I'm going to continue to use. So for all of you parents out there with kids who have entered the phase of the permanently bruised forehead, mark my words, use butter. Stock up now. That is the area of the bruise, and it's just a light green, but I'm not kidding, that bruise should have been like purple and just unpleasant. So seriously, it works. So use butter. Exactly. See ya, we gotta go play, right? Thanks for watching, and catch us in our next video. So long.